Record now. All right, cool. So we're recording, and here we are with number one income earner in the Northeast, number 8 in the entire company, presidential director, GK. Dude, congrats, first of all, man. I remember you wanting to crack that, and what a big accomplishment it was for you. So congrats on that. I'll quick tell people a little bit about how I know you. For those who don't know, George basically personally sponsored me. My real estate agent, who happens to be a friend of mine, also a real estate agent for George at one point, introduced me to the business and basically just gave me George's contact information. And George and I ran for a while. Every week we were meeting up at the Starbucks in Quakertown, putting people in front of him, and just watching him do that presentation. He's perfected that presentation. So I watched it over and over and over until I felt comfortable doing it myself. We talked every single day for months. I joined in August. The first day we didn't talk was Thanksgiving. So give you some context. I remember I joined on a Monday, went down to Florida on a Thursday. And I remember you had already had a meeting with one of my prospects and already signed them up without me being there. And I remember getting that text message when I walked off the plane, and you said, "Hey, your boy signed up. You just made money on a plane." And I was like, you know what? This business might work. And then I was putting customers in on my cell phone on the beach. And that's really when I started falling in love with the business. So a lot of my early success is largely in part to George and his mentorship in the beginning. And I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity and what you taught me. So George, with that being said, why don't you just kind of share your story a little bit, what you did before, what you're doing now, and just kind of what Stream's done for you.
I got to say, man, I'm really proud of you, though. You've come a long way, and you never know what you're going to expect when you get a new associate, especially when they're telling you, I don't think I can sponsor people, but I'll give it a shot. And it was your first time doing it. You never did network marketing before. But one thing about you was, and this is really important, I try to like explain this to people when they join. If you don't contact me, you're not going to be successful. I mean, you can, don't get me wrong. But if you want immediate success, you've got to have that mentorship. You got to have that accountability. And you were hitting me up every day. And at least for 90 days straight. I mean, you pretty much, and when somebody hits me up almost every single day, and they're actually setting appointments too. You were setting appointments. And I taught you that. I said, listen, Steve, we got to get people in front of me. And the formula that I taught you is how I was taught. I was taught to hit the ground running, expose as many people as possible, talk less, show more. Unfortunately, when I put somebody new in, they're talking more and showing less. But you followed the program. And I knew you were going to be senior director because every single person, Eric, you, Wendy George, George Elder, Monica, Johnny Ray, anybody who's become senior director, Jacob, the list goes on and on. They all follow the same steps. And Jacob came back actually a year later, but when he came back, he finally followed the steps, which is take action, do a 90-day blitz. And you followed it, so that's why you're where you're at today, man. And it's just a matter of now, it's the waiting game for you to get to executive director. But guys, for me, I had never done network marketing before. It was my first network marketing business, a little bit by myself. When I was exposed to the opportunity, I was down and out. I was living at home with my mom, driving an old pickup truck. I was in trouble with the law. I was doing probation. My life was pretty much like rock bottom, but I was optimistic, and I still wanted more out of life. But I thought to myself, what is a guy at 36 with an associate's degree working on a bachelor's degree? How is a guy in my position ever going to become successful? And that's the beauty of this business. On paper, there's no reason that I should be a self-made millionaire on paper. I mean, I remember one of the associates now who I coach, he's not even on my team. I coach his team for him. He didn't pick me as his, I showed him the plan, and he didn't sign up under me. He signed up another guy because on paper, this guy had a Valvoline company and he was successful on paper. The funny part is 20 million times became more successful in Stream than he did, but on paper he looked like, okay, this guy's, so I wasn't somebody who should have won. If you looked at my statistics, never did network marketing before, was down and out, was broke, but the drive was there. I wanted more out of my life. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I have to seize it in a lifetime of the opportunity. And I don't know how many more of these opportunities in my life I'm going to have. An ordinary guy like me to have an extraordinary possibility, it's going to be very slim to none. And I thought to myself, don't do what you did in high school, which is I quit football, and my team went to the championship that year. And it's the last year in history that my school and the other rival school have ever met in the state finals. And that taught me a lesson in life that I don't want to lose opportunities. I still think about high school 23 years later that I missed I was a starting linebacker and I quit. And I remember watching my team in the state finals, winning the state districts and all that stuff on the bench. And I never wanted to be on the bench again in my life. So I took advantage of this and I got stuck, guys. It was not easy. There was times in the first 3 months I wanted to quit. I remember becoming a senior director where I thought, wow, here's where I'm going to get wealthy, and nothing was happening. And luckily, my mom is a person who believes that anything is possible. She believes that if you keep going out there in the world, you're going to always be successful as long as you don't give up. Maybe it's, we're Greek, and maybe she listens to a lot of Aristotle. I don't know. But the point is that I went out there and I started talking to people. It's 8 years later, and yesterday I met somebody who was interested in Stream at the gym, me selling clothing for my clothing brand. I met a guy who was making barbecues as a fundraiser for a nonprofit. And I said, let me show you a way that you can not have to do these barbecues where you can get paid every month. Guys, there's millions of people out there. 8 years later, I'm still having success. But it was a process. At the end of the day, you got to believe in yourself. The biggest problem is people don't believe in themselves. I believed in myself, and I didn't look at, oh, wow, I haven't sponsored anybody in 5 months, or, oh, wow, I haven't gotten a customer in 6 months as a loss. I looked at it as a process towards the long-term journey. This is not a get-rich-quick business. This is a business that takes time. But when you get to that point where you've met all the requirements of time, it pays you back for a lifetime, Steve.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All that for sure. So one thing I heard you saying there that I definitely want to talk about is, like you said, no, there was nothing about you that would have said like, hey, this guy's going to be a 7-figure earner in this company, and same with me. I came from a construction background. I got a job it's a pharmaceutical company, but it was still manufacturing. It was, we were making vaccines, but it was still kind of, just that 9 to 5, punch in, punch out kind of thing. Nothing at all about me said that I would be successful either. So that being said, what would you say about, prejudging people?
I think, unfortunately, we do that in general. I was listening to something that really caught my attention. There was I don't know where I read it or where the video was, but it said that, we try to become this certain version of ourselves. And the reality is, when we look in the mirror and we see who we think we are, every single human being sees us as a different version of who we think we are. So you see me as a different version than my neighbor. My neighbor sees a different version of what the girl thinks at the desk at the Retro Fitness. So no matter how much you try to analyze yourself and think what kind of version you are, or what you are, or what this, or you're really a different version to a million different people. So the reality is, rather than prejudging people, you just got to give everybody a shot, because you just never know. And me and Darren used to always say, it's quantity brings in quality. So we would go out there. We didn't care if you were a felon. We didn't care if you wore your pants down to your knees. I mean, I might want to smack you in the back of the head for doing that, but we didn't care, okay? We didn't care if you were a doctor. We didn't care if you were a plumber, you were a single mom. We were going to show you this business, because some people in life have just never been given an opportunity to be around something positive, something that's going to give them an opportunity to change their life. So you don't know. And a lot of times, your prejudging is right, but a lot of times your prejudging is wrong. I'll give you a perfect example. Wesley Morris completely shocked me. Guy showed up to a meeting with an Uber. I'm like, why are you Ubering? Oh, I don't have a car. What do you do? I ride a bicycle. I said to myself, there's no way this guy can succeed in this business riding a bicycle or Uber. To make matters worse, he asked us for a ride home. Eric and I, and the whole time home, he was so it felt like somebody just had killed his excitement for Stream. He was like, man, he's in the back of the car. Me and Eric are in the front seat. He's like, nobody wants a switch. They think it's a scam. They think it's a pyramid. And he just kept going on and on and on. And I swear to God, when he got out of the car, Eric and I were like, oh, what a dud. This dude just I remember I said to Eric, this guy won't even be here in 2 weeks. And there you go. I mean, I ate my words, man. So
that's coming from a presidential director, a guy who's seen thousands of people, and that's good and bad, right? Because just because somebody has a lot of success doesn't mean they're going to be successful, and just because somebody doesn't have a lot of success in life doesn't mean that they can't be successful.
The reality, Steve, is that most of the people that you think should kill this because they have 5,000 contacts, or a bank manager, or they're successful through school, they're the ones that actually a lot of times don't even succeed in this business. Don't get me wrong, we have those guys, but you can't. Network marketing, when you join network marketing, all that goes out the window, man. I don't care if you have the highest IQ. I don't care if you have a master's degree. I don't care if you were homeless. It's the only business I can tell you that anybody can win at if they put their heart and soul into it, and you can become a millionaire.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And that's part of the best, that's one of the best things about this business is anybody can be whatever they want as long as they commit to it and overcome a few obstacles. For sure.
A lot of obstacles.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of obstacles, what were, like you said, I know you've gotten frustrated at points. I know you wanted to quit a few times. What were some of the obstacles that you've dealt with and overcome? And how did you do that?
So I think the hardest part is, when you first join this business, you're at a level in your life that needs to be self-developed to get to. For example, to earn a free bend, you can't just be somebody who just started. You have to have the mental requirements and the fortitude to get to that point where you're a guy or a girl who deserves to earn a bend, right? So when you first join, a lot of times you don't get into, I didn't get into self-development until like my first year, 6 months to a year. So here you are, you're like the same version of yourself going to try to become an entrepreneur. You're trying something you've never done. I mean, we're programmed to go to school for 12 years, but in the time that we go to school, we study, we take tests. We study, we take tests. We show up. So we're showing up all through grade school, right? All through high school, studying, taking tests. So you're programmed to do that. And then you get into network marketing and there's no education prior to it. So what happens with people is they think that the current version they are is the only version they are. And they go into it and they get no's and they get no-shows and they get cancellations and they get people laughing at them and they get people who don't text them back and then they just quit. And for me, I realized that, okay, I'm getting all these things. So what has to change? Like, what has to change? Why are these things happening to me? And I realized it's because I have to become a better version of myself so that people see me in a different light. Listen, at the point where I am now, I have so many people that respect what I've done in Stream and other opportunities that I've been able to grow. They contact me now, where back then the people were running away from me. And so I think people don't stick it in long enough to become a better version of themselves so they can get better results. They just go off of the whatever level of life they are in that moment, and they look at it as like, I'm failing. What they don't realize is, no, you're not failing. You have to just improve yourself, and you'll have better results. The better you become, the better the results become. So they don't ever think about it. They think that what they are now is what they're always going to be. So if they're failing now, it's game over. But what they don't realize is there's another version of themselves that's successful. They just have to find that person. Everybody in life, I feel, has the dream car, the dream house, the dream relationship, the dream income, the dream self-development of themselves. It's out there in the universe. I feel like it's a radio station. You gotta tune it in, and it's just until you do what it takes until one day, boom, 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 they all come together, and there you are. I woke up yesterday, I changed my bio, and somebody wrote, he was trying to be like funny. It was a compliment. He, instead of writing Lord of the Rings, he wrote Lord of the Things, meaning I have so many things. And I thought, man, isn't that weird? Because 8 years ago, I didn't have any of those things. I had nothing. I didn't own anything. I didn't have any businesses, except for my lawn business. So how did I manifest those things? Did they manifest it over time? It's amazing what happens in your life when you make a dedication that you're going to – I remember when I first joined Stream, Steve, I said to myself, I'm going to give this 5 years before I get frustrated. Now, I got frustrated before that, but I remember thinking to myself, there's going to be time – I remember saying to myself, there's going to be times you're going to want to quit, but I'm going to give it an honest 5 years. 5 years of my life. If in 5 years from now it's not paying me back, then I'll quit. So you're only in year 3. So you have 2 more years before you even get to that point. And I remember I had massive success before that, but that was my mentality going into it. I felt like I was going to need a good – if I spent 5 years in college to get my associate's degree, if I spent 13 years in school to get my high school diploma, if I spent a couple years learning how to cut lawns, to be a good 5 years to get established there, how would I expect to do this? This is no different. The problem here is it's easy in, easy out. $200 in, and not a big deal. If it was $200,000, people wouldn't be quitting. Also, it's one of those things where it's like you don't have to do it, right? Because you have your job, you have your family. So it's one of those. It's the easiest thing to just push on the back burner, and that's what happens a lot. But I saw that guys like Presley and Steve Fisher and all these people were making money, and I thought, well, if they can do it, why can't I do it? I mean, I don't see nothing different about them than me. They put their pants on one leg at a time, right? I mean, they get up, they eat breakfast, so do I. There's nothing, they're not robots. And when I spoke to people, and that's why it's good to speak to people, like this is why it's a good interview, because the top money owners are going to tell you, look, I'm having the same problem you're having. So when you come to me and say, hey, I have 10 associates and nobody's doing anything but one, well, guess what? I have 100 associates and nobody's doing anything but 10. It's the same thing. Yeah. I just exposed more people to the opportunity. I got more people in. Same exact stats as you. The only difference is you stopped at 10. I kept going to 100.
Right. 100%. And so, one of the best things that I ever heard, and I heard it from you first. I don't know if you made it up, but it was, successful people, unsuccessful people make decisions based on where they are. Successful people make decisions based on where they want to be. So I'm sure when you started this business, I'm sure you were confident, but you probably never expected this to happen the way that it happened. But you were making decisions off of where you were at that current time, right? You knew that there was something here and that you were going to eventually do something with yourself or with this business at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. If I would have based this business on where my life was, I never would have had success, because when I started this business, I was still down and out. I remember I was on probation and I had to ask for permission to go to Texas. Thank God the probation officer said yes. Wow. He would have said no, we might not be here today. And then and then I wasn't allowed to go into Jersey. And my mom would actually drive me to Jersey to do meetings because she was afraid I would get pulled over. And she says, let me at least drive you. Because if I get pulled over, they're not going to probably ask for your ID. So, because I was on probation until September 2012. So when I joined, it was another whole other year. So when they launched Jersey in November, I was like, shoot, what am I going to do? I'm supposed to do, I know I can't call my officer every day and be like, can I go to Jersey today? Can I go to Jersey? He's going to be like, this guy's crazy. Because I was, when you do a meeting, you don't know, right? And I was trying to use the webinars. But eventually I was like, I got to get to Jersey. And so my mom would literally be driving me to do meetings. And it's pretty cool of her to do that for me. But that's how much she believed in me. And I'll never forget, like, my mom realized, like, one day I said, Mom, I'm trying to get promoted to, executive director. I have a meeting at Panera's. I don't know what to do. I need this one associate to join. She said to me, just put a sign on the door and be back in an hour. My mom is the strictest person to work for. Like, she is like, you're 1 minute late. Like, you're not going to know about it. So when she did that to me, I was like, damn, like, my mom really believes in me. For her to let me go. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I owe my mom, I owe my grandmother, I owe every single person in my family who came before me, who actually sacrificed and was broke most of their life to take advantage of this. Because if I don't take advantage of this, I feel like I'm wasting an opportunity to change the future and the future of my last name. And everything they've done, my grandmother working in olive fields at 5 years old, would all be in vain. And I'm sorry, but I'm old school. I have respect for the generations before me. I'm not just thinking about myself. I'm thinking about, who came before me. And guys, I remember after my mom let me do that, I just really buckled down and thought, okay, I'm going to do this for myself, my mom, my family, my city, and everybody else is going to be on my back. And I'm going to make sure I succeed. And that's it. Bottom line, I'm not failing.
Yeah, and that's so important. I mean, I've heard it said before, and I do believe it's true that, a lot of times you'll do more for others than you will for yourself. And so I think, this business can't be all about me. You have to have, the benefits of others in mind as well, for sure. So
I was more excited to help you than me. I mean, I'm at a point now where my business is growing regardless. I can take off and my team, you're not going to quit. But I'm at a point now where I'm just really, for a long time, I've been at a point where I'm just really excited to see, like, my team win. Like, I just can't wait to see you get a free Benz, man. Like, yeah. I'm at a point now where, honestly, like, it's not a bad thing, but I try to tell people, enjoy the process, because right now the Mercedes feels like a beater car. Mm-hmm. Meaning, like, I've lost sense of reality. I'm buying Porsches, Maseratis. Like, I'm walking into gun stores, walking out with like $500 guns. I'm like, what's going on? Like my point is, like, you start to, like, everything becomes simple and you have everything you ever wanted. And, like, now for me to get excited, Steve, I would probably need a rocket ship.
Right.
So I tell people, slow down, like, enjoy it, because I'm telling you, get to the top, you look back and it's all the things that you went through that were really the great times. And people are stressing out. Just laugh, enjoy it, smile, have fun, because when you get to the top of the mountain, there's nothing there. I mean, you have everything you want, but all the stuff that builds character and all the situations that you break through to become a better version, they're no longer there. You did them all. And now you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, people are coming to me now asking me to sponsor them. I mean, that's great, but come on, how am I going to grow from that?
Right. Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought that up too, because, with you being my mentor, there were times where I got frustrated also. And one of the greatest things, another great thing that you taught me, was to fall in love with the journey. And, you hear that all the time, but once I've really fully embraced that, you realize that, the journey is really what changes you. It's not getting to the top. It's all, you're at the bottom of the mountain. You want to get to the top. It's all the trees and rocks and, snakes.
It was a Tuesday night meeting. I said that. It was at Chicago on a Tuesday night meeting. You drove an hour. And think about it. You drove an hour probably thinking, I'm not going to learn anything because it's a meeting. And then you took that away from there that night, and that changed a lot for you. I also taught you that when you get stuck, make a recording, which I used to do all the time because I used to get stuck all the time. And I used to be like, man, I'm stuck. Nobody's like, I wouldn't have a sign up for like 3 weeks in my business or a month. Like not even me, nobody. And I'd be like, okay, it's Christmas time. And I would make a recording. Okay, George, this is Christmas time. Nobody's joined in 4 weeks. Your paycheck didn't have a comma this week. This is going to pass. Keep going. Keep working. And somehow the universe is going to give you momentum. And then 3 months later, 2 months later, boom, 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 boom. And I'd play back the video. Like, oh my! And after the third time of doing that, I thought, this business can't fail. Because every time I get stuck, as long as I don't quit. So when I say don't quit means I put in the same, here's the important thing, putting in the exact same amount of effort when your business isn't growing as when it's growing. See, I could name some names now and I won't, but there's associates who last year crushed it until their business slowed down. Once their business slowed down, they slowed down and it was game over.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's extremely important. And that's honestly that fall in love with the journey is really something that's changed my life because it doesn't just, it transcends stream. It applies to all things in life. Nothing really comes easily. And just having this interview is so important because not everybody sees all that stuff. Not everybody knows that you had to get your mom to drive you to Jersey. Not everybody sees all that, so it's like, and maybe intentionally, maybe you don't want everybody knowing that kind of stuff.
I mean, at this point, now I'm okay with it. I'm cool enough now where I can tell about all my dirt. You know what I mean?
Now it's a cool story.
I always say, like, once you're like famous, you can be Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Be Dennis Rodman until you're famous. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. It's a good point. But people don't see that. They think, well, yeah, this guy was a bodybuilder. He already had the credibility. He had the influence. But, dude, you were down and out, man. It wasn't that easy for you. That's part of what makes your story so special. You were down and out at that point, and you still were able to not only survive, but you thrive at that time.
If anything, bodybuilding hindered me because bodybuilders usually are obsessed with the gym and competing and dieting. They don't listen. Most people that I know that are bodybuilders that I know aren't financially successful. And a lot of my friends are still living in their mom's basement, yelling at their mom for burning their Hot Pocket. You know what I mean? wearing genie pants. Okay, so. I had to break out of that because that's a dangerous situation when you're romantically inclined to just be with, like, people get too romantic with how they make money, right? Or they get too romantic with something and that's all they focus on. And that's a dangerous thing because that was how I was for a very long time. If it wasn't about bodybuilding, I wasn't interested.
Right.
And luckily when I got out of that circle of influence, my mind started to change, and I was just talking about that today. When I was in 7th grade, I played football for the toughest team in the area. I mean, these kids were like carrying knives and like bullies and just tough kids. And I was so nervous. My team had folded in the blue collar area. I remember my original football team, they were getting picked up in Porsches. And I went to this like really bad neighborhood and we ended up being undefeated and winning the championship. But halfway through, I went from being a scared kid from getting like just pulverized by these kids to the point where I had to actually beat the quarterback up with my taekwondo. And then they all left me alone. But I became such a strong human being. I mean, I was just fearless because of these kids. These kids made me fearless because if I could, go up against these kids and I could go up against anybody. And here's the crazy part. The following year, my mom took me back to the posh team, which sucked, by the way. But all that that I had, guess what? It all went away. And by 9th grade, I was back to being like that scared football player who was afraid to get hit and wasn't going after people. And again, it shows you that like motivation doesn't last. It's like bathing, right? You got to do it every day. But even that toughness about you or that aggression for success only lasts if the circle of influence around you is the same way. As soon as you deviate from that circle of influence, you go right back to being mediocre. And that's proof. I proved that to myself even in middle school. I went back to being mediocre because I started hanging out with mediocre people.
Sure, absolutely. And so just to clarify, that's not a knock on Hot Pockets because they are one of the most complete meals that you can.
I was going to say Pop-Tarts, but I thought of Hot Pockets.
Yeah, Hot Pockets are better example. So, yeah.
Nothing against bodybuilders either. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of friends of mine who are bodybuilders who are successful. They own clothing brands. They own, vitamin companies, but I'm just saying there was a group of us And if I look at them, they're still doing the same thing. That's all I'm saying, you know, and that's their life, and that's fine. I'm just glad I'm not there, because if I was there, I'd still be living with my mom probably.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So here you are in the business. You're what, 7 years into it at this
Almost
point?
8 in June.
Okay, so almost 8. You're still getting customers. You're still getting associates. Now,
23 this year. Can you believe it? Well, actually,
that's amazing.
Well, I just bought a 5 unit, so that's cheating, but it's going to be 26 with the 5 unit.
Well,
but yeah,
because that actually rolls into what I'm about to say, which is, you know, you found ways to continue to grow your network and get out there and meet people. You didn't just sit back and wait for people to come to you. You're still actively growing.
Correct.
Part of Evolve was also the networking aspect, right?
I created Evolve for one reason only. Well, 2 reasons. One was to prove that I can be successful again, because people keep saying he's lucky. So I took an industry that's really hard, complicated, hard to be successful in. Most companies shut down in 2 years unless you're a big major company. So now I'm going on 3 years, which I proved that I can do it. And 2 was just to get more leads. I mean, I went to York, Pennsylvania, Shrewsbury, near Maryland, and I found a lady who's interested in Stream. I found another person interested in Stream. I mean, maybe they join, maybe they won't. But the point is, there are always people in front of me because I'm at these events, and and I'm not going to get anybody sitting here. You know, and everybody knows me at the gym already. So how can let me start a clothing brand. Here's what I noticed too, guys. When I was 23 years old, I think a lot of life lessons from the past. I was 23 years old, I was a bartender, and I would look around the bar and I would realize that guys would hit on girls, and girls would be like, get away from me. But every single day, these girls would like have to talk to me because I was the bartender. So the wall was down already because they had to ask me for drinks. And because of, you know, that having a wall down, they started to get to know me. I talked to them, and I had a lot of female friends that were my patrons. So they would come in every single day hoping to see me because they enjoyed my company. And I thought to myself, wow, isn't it funny how because I'm the bartender and they're forced to speak to me, the wall goes down. I'm not that creepy dude hitting on them. Now I'm the bartender. So the same thing happens in the gym. There's these tough guys walking around, alpha males won't say hi to me. You got girls who think they're super hot, or maybe they think I'm cute and they don't want to pay attention to me. So everybody's ignoring me, right? But as soon as I open up a 6-foot table, pow, I put a cloth down and some clothes, all of a sudden, I'm not that alpha male who another guy has to be like tough around. I'm not that creepy gym guy who's looking at a girl working out. I'm the guy who's selling clothes. And all of a sudden, people who never spoke to me ever, same people now, oh, how much is that shirt? Oh, what's your company called? Boom, there's that wall down. So I just took the philosophy from when I was a bartender, and I took it into the clothing business and realized if I could just open up a folding table where people don't see me as intimidating because I'm selling something, they're not going to see me as a stranger. It's natural instinct to talk to people that are actually selling stuff, and it worked.
Well, and that's one of the things I love about you, man, is you are, and I think this is really kind of the definition of an entrepreneur, but you just find a way to get things done. So you've almost kind of found a way to just rebrand yourself in the same building.
Yep.
You find a way, no matter what it is, you find a way to make sure things get done. You're creative, and you're not a problem finder, you're a solution.
Correct. Oh, so you want to rent for me? Okay, that's great. So you're going to pay me rent every month? Oh, wait, let me switch your light bill. Oh, thank you for that. Oh, what? You need your credit fixed? Oh, let me fix your credit for you. Right. Okay. Oh, wait, you know what I mean? It's like, how do you think I got Paige Tolarski from a bodybuilding event. She saw me selling leggings, and she just Instagrammed me, how did you start that company? And I said, well, watch this video. This is how I got the money. Boom. She'll be in Texas. Ashley will be in Texas. Johnny Quinn will be in Texas. If it wasn't for Evolve, there would be no Paige.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that, and this goes back to what I said before about making decisions based on where you are. You started Evolve because you saw the future of it. You had the foresight to see a couple of years and see what building that network could do for you.
Yep. So you know who inspired me? Robert Herjavec.
Yeah.
And where was that at? Stream Ignition. And what was the Stream Ignition called that year? Do you remember?
I wasn't there, no.
Okay, it was called Evolution.
Ah.
So I'm looking at the flyer on the way home in the airplane, and I start scribbling. I start getting ready to the end. EVOL. I'm like, wait a minute, Evolve. Eric, I said, Eric, do you want to start a clothing brand? He's like, hell yeah. I'm like, how about if we call it Evolve? He goes, yeah. I said, you know what? We'll use the E for your letter initial, and we'll put the Greek key around it for me. All right, done deal. 3 weeks later, we had an LLC. By June, that was April. By June, we were up and running.
Wow, that's amazing. And another, in this, it's so cool talking to you and interviewing you, because it brings back so many old memories, and you taught me about the compound effect.
Yeah.
This is another example of the compound effect. And I was just talking with my Monica today in the car. I have all these opportunities being thrown at me right now, to the point where I actually have to tell people, like, I got to focus on Stream right now. Stream to where it is. I can do other things, start looking at other things. But it all came from a series of decisions that compounded. Me taking a look at this business and getting involved with the people and all those things. So, although it might seem like a little decision, it can compound into life-changing things.
Yeah, and Steve, I'm not a fan of chasing two network marketing companies. I feel like you're not going to catch either. It's like chasing two rabbits. Same thing with affiliate programs. I mean, people hit me up. Somebody hit me up for an Uber limousine one this week. I got hit for another one, and that's fine. But I just honestly, if I took every opportunity that came my way, I would be mediocre at a lot of opportunities. So what I did was, once I made a substantial amount of 6 figures in Stream, then I launched real estate. Once I made 6 figures in real estate, then I launched the clothing brand. Once we had 6 figures in the clothing brand, then I launched the credit repair. Once I made 6 figures in the credit repair, now I'm working on another project. Okay. I didn't just jump from one thing to the other. Like, I mastered each one, and each one brought me, they brought me to their business. I wasn't looking for them, but I got involved with people like, I would listen to guys like Steve Lloyd on the PD, on the top performers trips, talking about real estate, talking about all these things. And my mind starts to spin, and it's all happens when it's supposed to happen. You're going to have multiple incomes if you become successful in network marketing, because you're going to start to have other opportunities come your way, and you're going to meet people. Like, I met Eric, and we started a business together. Eric now also works with me with the credit repair. You don't have to go out there and look for them. They're going to come your way when the right time is. Otherwise, if you try to do too many things at one time, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, I mean, I think Darren Hardy, who wrote The Compound Effect, and he's studied, it's a publisher for Success Magazine, as you know, and he studied the most successful people in the world. And what he says is, people want to get involved in everything. And hey, Kat, what's your cat's name?
Skittles.
Hey, Monica.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So,
yeah.
What Darren Hardy talks about is, people a lot of times, they want to get involved in all these different things. They're chasing, like a cat chasing the next shiny object all over the place. And a jack of all trades, a master of none. And what he suggests to do, and which is what you've done, is master one thing before you move on to the next.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem that a lot of people have in network marketing, or at least starting small businesses, where they don't have the success immediately and they want to jump to something else, and they're kind of half doing a bunch of different things.
I can't tell you how many people I know who have done probably 10 network marketing businesses. They made maybe $1,000 at each one.
Sure.
And I've never seen top money earner in 2 network marketing companies.
Sure, absolutely, yeah, and I agree with that too. I mean, like I said, I can't even think about something else right now until I get Streamed to where I want it to be, because I know it takes that much effort to get there, and I can't divert that attention elsewhere. So with that being said, why don't you kind of leave us off? I don't want to let this run too long. Why don't you kind of leave us off on some of your keys to success? What would you tell somebody just getting started? You're so mentally tough. You have you just have one of the most mentally tough mindsets of anybody I ever met in my life. So what advice would you give somebody? What are your keys to success?
So I feel like people have to learn to do life and do Stream. And what that means is that you have to anticipate problems in life, whether it's relationship, kids, business, career, whatever's going on in your life. And you have to already know that you got to do Stream regardless. There's no choice. It's not like, well, if my kid gets detention today, I can't do Stream, or well, if my car breaks. It's not an if. This is if you want to make life-changing money. If you want to make it as a hobby, feel free. But if you want to be in your position, Steve, or my position, where you're in a position now where you have the ability to make 6 figures one day, so all you got to do is have one good run. You got to figure out a way to multitask. I tell Eric all the time, Eric, the difference between making $100,000 a year and $500,000, because I've done both, is to learn how to multitask. Learn how to be able to do multiple things in your life, which means spend time with your fiance, spend time with the kids, work your Stream business, still play softball. There's ways to do it. The beggar and the billionaire have the same 24 hours in a day. I have the same 24 hours that you do. I have the same 24 hours that Eric has. But it's really important to make it part of your life. I don't have a choice on brushing my teeth. It's something I have to do. I wonder if I want to brush my teeth today. Well, I wonder if I want to do Stream. And don't get me wrong, there's days where I don't do Stream, but it's always on my mind. Always on my mind. Even today when I went to the gun range, I thought, okay, I met the owner. if I can meet him one more time. And then the third time, I'll ask him about his light bill. But I don't have enough rapport with him yet. Let me spend some more money in here. It's always on my mind. That's the one thing I think is the key to success is consistency. You have to be consistent. You know, if you were to put a bag of popcorn in the microwave for 30 seconds, nothing would happen. Take it out, put it back in for 30, nothing's going to happen. You can do that 10 million times. You can take it in 30 seconds, take it out 10 times in a row and experiment. Nothing's going to happen. You leave it in there for 2-3 minutes, it's going to start popping. That's how success happens. You got to go longer than 30 seconds. You can't keep taking these breaks. That's the reality of it.
I love it, man. Thank you so much. That's excellent advice. I asked
It's a cheat day. That's why I'm talking about popcorn, by the way.
Is that why? If anybody has any questions, leave them in the comments. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your time, George. You have anything to leave people with? Anything else?
Just if you're on the border of going to Ignition or not, make sure you go. Listen, it's going to be worth it.
Also,
Let's get. What's that?
Where are you going to be coming up? You're traveling.
I'm going to be in Pittsburgh on Tuesday, and then we'll be Ignition the following week. Then I'll be in Queens in May. June, I won't be at any meetings because I'll be in the Cayman Islands. And July and August, I'm looking at Houston and Dallas. But it's really important to go to Ignition. I don't care if it costs you $500 or $1,000. Find a way to make it happen. Investing in yourself is always going to pay back dividends. If it wasn't for Ignition, I wouldn't have seen what I saw, and I wouldn't have the drive to be where I'm at today. So if you're on the fence, trust me, go there. I promise you, you're gonna be thanking yourself in a few years.
Yeah, I'll second that. I mean, I'll be honest with you, George. I don't think I ever told you this, but I remember when I first met you and you were talking about.
I ain't going to Ignition.
Dude, I was like, I
was so disappointed in you.
I was like, there's no way I'm going to one of these things. And then I hit senior director in January, and I was like, well, man, I got to go there now. And I can't imagine. I don't even know where I'd be.
Yep.
Go to that first Ignition.
Yep.
It's default. You know, I'm there every year. I buy my tickets for the next year.
It's just part of life, man. It's something that I put it in my calendar first, and then my life revolves around that date. So you're like, well, let me see what I'm doing at that month. No, it should be in your calendar already.
Yeah, it's a non-negotiable as far as.
Yep, I agree. Unless my girl's having a baby that week, which is not happening. I'm not, you know what I mean? If that happens ever, then maybe I won't be there. But until then, I'm there. And if that happens, I'm going to tell you how much Ignition is important to me. I've already started thinking about saving money in a little side thing in case we have a baby one day. And I'm going to hire a private jet. And I'm going to be like, listen, here's the deal. If my girl goes into labor, you're going to fly me home in 30 minutes. I'm going to pay you 5 Gs, 10 Gs. It's exactly what's going to happen. I promise you, if Monica's ever pregnant and she's due around Ignition, I will have a private jet hired for whatever it costs that will be able to go, oh my God, guys, I got to go. And I'll be home in 30 minutes or 40, whatever it is, an hour. I'll be home. I won't miss it.
That's the dedication it takes to be a top
earner. I already thought about it. I thought, what could stop me from going? And either unless I'm really sick, which I went last year sick, but if I'm healthy, the only thing that can stop me is me having a baby. And I already realized how I'm going to do that. I'm going to get Brian Dilsheimer's Wheels Up company. I'm going to pay them whatever it is, $10,000, and I'm going to be home in a half hour, an hour.
I love it. That's perfect, man. And that's.
I'll see you soon, babe. I'll be right there.
That's why you're a top earner for sure.
I got dinner in a half hour. I'll make it.
You're good. We'll end this now.
All right,
George. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and.
All right, brother.
Great, man. So I look forward to seeing you down at Ignition. And,
Steve, I see the future, man. We're going to be doing a Zoom one day, and you're going to be ED, bro.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? You talk about this, George. I'll never forget. I asked you when you got your Maserati. I said, "How did it feel?" And you said, "You know what, Steve? To be honest with you, I envisioned myself driving this thing for so long that it just kind of feels like I've always."
Yeah. I have a keychain and everything already.
Exactly. So envisioning that in your mind is so important.
Yep.
That's something that you don't just talk about. You actually practice what you preach.
Yep.
So again, thank you, GK. You're the man.
All right.
Time and have a great day, man.
All right, guys. Thank you. Take care.
All right. See you guys.
Appreciate